African kids will learn so little whilst they're in school, they will not be better off than kids who never attended school at all. My earliest memories of learning was at the age of 7 in the Gambia where we lived. And every morning, sitting behind sums of long division with tears of pools in my eyes. The very thought of maths came with cane strokes and knocks to my head to make me somehow magically conjure the answers to these. And so kids like me were made to sit at the back of the class, and we went unnoticed by the teacher. But you see, what my teacher and my mother did not realize was that I saw forms and I saw shapes, I didn't see angles, and I saw on a butterfly wing all the different colors that my siblings that were math and science oriented did not see. And so I remained at the bottom of the class until at the age of 13, this time in Botswana where we lived. And my Australian teacher at this point started recognizing that I had talent, as this started showing through subjects such as biology, geography, and art. At home as well, my mother, who was an educator, realized that amongst my siblings that were straight A's, math and science, that I was very different. And so she encouraged me to study art all through my education. I'm a firm believer that the 34 million African kids who drop out before the last grade of their primary education is as a result of this failure in educational system, which fails to recognize talent very early on in school and to steer the efforts of kids like me into skill-based education. Gifted and talented kids have the potential to develop well beyond what is expected of them. But if we fail to recognize these kids in the classroom and channel their energies into what, for them to unearth their talent, we risk great damage to these kids. I stand by Howard Gardner's multiple intelligence theory that intelligence should not just be rated by a child's IQ level, which is so prevalent in Africa. He says that there's 8 distinct types of intelligence. Spatial, people that are very good at moving, great sportsmen like Asamoah Gyan. It amazes me how so many people can run after a ball, and yet we're so fixated to our TV, and they're able to stir emotions in us. Or people who have have musical talent, like Sarkodie, who's going to come on later on, and when they give us beats, we can dance. Or people who are very good at languages, like Chief Moman, who will be able to recite poetry, and he moves us with his words. Or people who are great at figures, like I'm not. Or people who have great interpersonal skills, intrapersonal or spatial, or people who are very good with nature. And so if we have 500,000 Ghanaian kids dropping out of school last year, and we have 90 million unemployed or underemployed medium to low-skilled workers, it's as a result of this failure in the educational system. Yet, this is a young continent that has the potential in a lot of industries, that, in the areas of construction, agriculture, oil and gas, clean energy, and the creative industry, which will require the requisite efforts of the masses of young African people who should have the right sort of skills in plumbing, electricals, masonry work, plumbing, or even ICT skills. This is a young continent that is growing, so we cannot say that we don't have the right set of skills. When we gained independence in 1957, countries such as Malaysia and Singapore were also gaining theirs. In fact, Malaysia also gained independence at the same time that we did. However, if we look at their developments, there's a marked difference between where they are and where we are. Clearly, our priorities were different. They understood the value of skills in their education and invested heavily in it. Where did we go wrong? In Singapore, they believe in their human resource, and they believe that if they invest in teachers and educators, then they would have quality educational system. If years on we haven't moved on, then I really don't know what's wrong with us. And so I will leave you with my 4 calls of action. Albert Einstein said that creativity is the ability to see what everyone else has seen, but thinking what nobody has thought of. So I would say that there should be an immediate overhaul of our educational system. There has to be an integration of TVET in our curriculum. Several renowned educators have said that Ghana will continue to move in cycles unless there's a complete paradigm shift, and for us to realign our thinking, and for the introduction of ICT into our curriculum as well. An urgent call to our government that you need to take a look at our policies in TVET. If just across the road, you tell me that they sit in Parliament and make policies on our behalf, yet every single chair was imported from China because they'll tell you that we don't have carpenters who can build chairs. Or if you talk about local content on our oil rigs, we have to fly in welders from the Philippines because they'll tell you that we don't have welders to go underground and weld. Or if you look at the construction sites going on, China will give us loans, but they'll bring prisoners to come and build all the projects going on. What are we doing to address the 90 million unemployed young people who stand by the roadside selling dog chains or would turn to Galamsey because they will say that they don't have alternative livelihoods? This cannot be the answer. This is not the Africa I want to see. And to our teachers, we must invest in our teachers. But unfortunately, we have a situation here that if you cannot make it to Legon or Tech, then you're told to go to Winneba. Go and be a teacher. So therefore, the teachers are the ones who do not cut the grades. But yet, these are teachers who are told or should be trained to identify talents in the classroom. And to parents as well, just because that child cannot put figures together does not mean that somehow if they use their hands or they use their eyes, they don't understand proportions. You must learn to celebrate talent, see that your kids that are different are also equally as important as the kids who get straight A's in maths. And to you, the public, the lingering stigma that if I look like this, or I don't understand figures just like that, when I put things together, I understand proportions. And so if the chair wobbles, I understand that one end doesn't balance out. We see things differently. Thank you.